So Chris Algieri upsets Ruslan Provodnikov with a 12-round split decision win to become the new WBO junior welterweight champion. This was a good fight, a very good fight and a very competitive fight. Now, there was nothing that really surprised me in terms of the success that Algieri had, because Ruslan Provodnikov has always been an easy guy to hit. Remember, this is a guy who, during his fight with Tim Bradley, his trainer, Freddie Roach, was on the verge of pulling Provodnikov out of the fight about midway through that fight. And Tim Bradley ain't a puncher. So it was no surprise that Algieri was able to catch Provodnikov with shots. That was no surprise to me. What was a surprise to me was that Algieri was able to come through the kind of punishment that he had to endure, especially early in the fight. I mean, the first round couldn't have gone any worse for Algieri other than maybe him getting stopped, because he was down twice in the first round. He sustained a terrible swelling to his right eye from a left hook of Provodnikov in the first round, and it really didn't look like it was going to go very far. You know, after that first round, that was 10-7. It was a great first round for Provodnikov, and I actually posted in Facebook, my status was that Provodnikov is doing his best Mike Tyson impersonation right now, and so far it's a pretty good one. And it was. He was coming forward and he was using quite a lot of head movement in that first round, more head movement than I've seen from him before. And also Provodnikov's left hook seemed improved, especially in the early, probably the first half of the fight. His left hook seemed improved from what I've seen it before. And this was a classical matchup of a come forward pressure fighter against a much taller, rangy boxer who uses a lot of movement. Now, Algieri is not exactly what you call slick, but he's very tall for the weight. He's 5'10". Provodnikov was 5'6", I believe. So, you know, Algieri is not a puncher, but he was moving around the ring quite nicely, in quite a rhythmic fashion, using a very good jab. And he was landing that left jab with regularity. That was really his best shot. He was landing combinations. He was also landing some nice body shots on Provodnikov. And in a lot of the rounds, he was outworking Provodnikov. Now, this wasn't the kind of pity-patty, pillow-fisted type of boxing that maybe you would get from a Paulie Malignaggi in most of his fights. No disrespect to Paulie. But, you know, Algieri certainly isn't a puncher, but his punches had more authority on them than a guy like Malignaggi. He was snapping Provodnikov's head back. You did hear some nice cracking body shots going in. So his good work wasn't difficult to recognize. It was eye-catching. That's the way I need to be describing it. It was eye-catching work from Algieri. Even though he wasn't anything concussive, it was still eye-catching, flashy combinations, good jab, knocking Provodnikov's head back, and outworking Provodnikov a lot of the time. Provodnikov lost his shape pretty early on in the fight. In the first round, I thought he did well. The second round, Algieri had a good round. And from there on in, slowly but surely, Provodnikov started losing his shape, started, you know, losing his head movement, wasn't using his left hook as effectively, and he was finding it very difficult to pin Algieri down. So the fight continued in that pattern throughout the course of the 12 rounds, pretty much. It was Provodnikov pursuing but not being that effective. When he did land, his shots were eye-catching though. He does have tremendous punching power, very, very heavy hands. When he did land, it was eye-catching, but in a lot of the rounds, Algieri was doing so much work, nice little uppercuts here and there, body shots, jabs, and knocking Provodnikov's head back. He was doing so much work, it was difficult to really give Provodnikov a lot of the rounds when he was only landing 1 or 2 solid shots in the round. So you can definitely say that a lot of the rounds were open to interpretation. I'm not going to say that Provodnikov didn't have a shout of winning this fight. If someone had this fight scored for Provodnikov, I can't really argue. But at the same time, you can say the same for Algieri. You can't really argue him winning the fight either on the judges' scorecards. And end of the day, it went 12. Algieri managed to survive the whole 12 rounds with a terrible swelling, which he pretty much picked up in the first round from a left hook. Paulie Malignaggi, who was commentating for Sky, you know, mentioned that without that swelling, he might have done even better than he did, carrying that swelling for 12 rounds. So that remains to be seen. You know, we'll never know, but nonetheless, it was a good performance by Algieri. Provodnikov, just a bit too one-dimensional. Didn't mix up his attacks enough. Not enough head movement. Lost his shape too easily. And ended up losing his title to Chris Algieri, who's now the new WBO junior welterweight champion. Not many people gave him a chance. I'd like to big up everyone who actually bet on him to win. Because I believe the odds were like 9-2 or something like that. So you would have won a nice little bit of money on that one. So big up everyone who betted on Algieri. In terms of where Algieri can go in the junior welterweight division, there's not really that much at junior welterweight right now. I mean, who's there? Danny Garcia, but he's about to move up. Mauricio Herrera. Who else is there? Broner. I mean, there's not that much at junior welterweight right now, so Chris Algieri might be able to do quite well in the division as it is at the moment, because most of the big guns have moved up. I'm not sure about Matisse though. Is he still going to move up to 147, or is he staying at 140 pounds? Not 100% sure about that. Fill me in the comment section if you know any better about that than me. But yeah, hats off to Chris Algieri. Let me know how you felt about this fight and where you see both fighters going forward. How did you have the fight scored? Did you think it was a fair result or not? Let me know in the comment section below. This is Hatman, I'm out.